At 11, a positive trend in the nation's opioid epidemic, but challenges remain.
It's almost never fentanyl. There's always something else in there.
Plus, a shift in operations in Harney County amid massive flooding. But officials are telling people to be ready for anything. And later on, a Hillsboro woman and sole provider for her family reaches out after a crash leaves her unable to work.
I just ended up getting a promotion right before the accident happened.
Thanks so much for joining us here at 11. I'm John Adams. There's a hopeful sign in the fight against illicit drugs. New data shows that overdose deaths are declining during this years-long epidemic. Taking a look at the data from Multnomah County over the past couple of years, our region is still struggling with overdose deaths, but there's been a sharp decline several months out of the past year. NBC's Priya Sridhar reports outreach workers say the battle is still far from over.
This is perhaps the unexpected front lines of the war on drugs.
LSD, fentanyl.
Dr. Nabrian Dasgupta and his team at this lab at UNC Chapel Hill combed through drug samples collected from across the country.
Frontline public health programs, health departments, clinics, EMS.
The goal? Understanding the specific chemical composition of drugs circulating in the streets in real time.
What exactly are they trying to discover by sending them here specifically?
Usually when people say they take fentanyl, it's almost never fentanyl. There's always something else in there.
They run those small samples through this machine. Then they analyze the molecular structure.
If we want to help people keep safe and avoid things that they don't want to put in their bodies, this is the way to do it.
There's been a dramatic reduction in overdose deaths in recent months. The CDC now saying the numbers dropped to 87,000 between October of 2023 and September of 2024, the lowest they've been since 2020.
There are a bunch of different causes that we have analyzed, maybe about 20.
Among them, the distribution of naloxone, a medicine that reverses an overdose, also a shifting drug supply, fentanyl becoming less potent, and community awareness. Dasgupta sends his reports back to the clinics that originally sent the samples, including North Carolina's Harm Reduction Coalition.
We have Narcan.
Outreach workers here say the drug supply is constantly changing, and it's important to know what exactly people are using.
Overdose reversal is not as cut and dry as it used to be.
For Greg Swan, these resources weren't there for his son, Drew.
He was beautiful. He was a model. He was super smart.
Drew died of an overdose 12 years ago. His son, always on Greg's mind today.
I just had, a moment in the Walmart where I just had to remember him, But normally I don't get, caught up like that.
There's nothing that compares with this drug in terms of death.
Now Swan is on a mission to talk to every high school student in the country about the dangers of an overdose.
You got to go warn these kids. They're dying, so we got to put our foot on the gas.
United in purpose, doing their part to stop the overdose crisis. Priya Sridhar, NBC News, Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Now to Southeast Oregon, where satellite footage from the National Weather Service shows just how widespread the flooding is in Harney County. The dark areas and below Burns that you see there, that's all floodwater. On Thursday, the Harney County Sheriff's Office said they're monitoring any new potential flooding as they shift towards a cleanup and recovery response. Warm temperatures are keeping the nearby Sylvies River at minor flood levels. People there are asked to be ready to evacuate if they get the order to leave. They do say the drinking water for the city of Burns remains safe and unaffected. Well, turning now to our weather, it might be feeling like winter in some parts of the area tonight, but we are set for a nice warm up on Sunday afternoon. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri is joining us. And Joe, you were telling us earlier today at 5, we could be looking at the start of some very nice weather coming up.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice run. I want to let people rest assured it's going to be feeling like winter tomorrow morning, not looking like it. So there's a difference there. Temperature-wise, tomorrow morning, this is showing just above freezing temperatures up and down the I-5 corridor, and some spots could be right at that freezing mark. Over in Tillamook, you'd be at 32 degrees. Parts of Hood River, you'll be just a little bit cooler heading into the morning hours. And because of the clear skies and the cold temperatures and that ridge of high pressure, a bunch of things are kind of playing a role in this frost advisory. That's going to be in effect tomorrow until about 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then again, this purple color you see is a freeze warning. That'll be taking effect now until tomorrow morning at 9 throughout parts of the upper Hood River Valley. So just expect some cold conditions and some spotty freezing conditions as well. I think places outside of downtown Portland could, more of the rural spots, will see temperatures right at that freezing mark. But looking into tomorrow morning, we're going to be looking at clear skies from beginning to end. So this ridge of high pressure is going to be popping over the next couple of days, and that means sunny and warm conditions. I have at least 3 days in the 7-day forecast, John, with temperatures 70 or above. In fact, I had a bump up one of those days, so I'll talk more about that in your detailed forecast just a few minutes from now.
All right, Joe, thank you. Looking forward to that. Well, a woman involved in a car accident last Monday is turning to the community for help. She was right outside the gates of her job when it happened. It left her with a broken ankle, severe bruising, and a brain bleed. She says she's lucky to be alive, but soon to be in need of new transportation to get to work. She also tells our Celine Stevens she's the sole provider for her family.
I need to provide, I need to buy things. I need to pay bills. It's really hard without a vehicle.
Monday, April 7th, Juanita Lopez was moments away from pulling into her job when she was hit by a driver.
I went to go make a left-hand turn into the company site. As I made the left-hand turn, it was clear for me to go, and then some car, like a small car, it ended up ramming into me.
Hillsboro police confirmed the crash happened before 6:30 in the morning near Northeast Evergreen Road and Star Boulevard. Lopez tells us the other driver was speeding.
The gentleman didn't even push on the brakes because his tires were still spinning as he hit me. And he hit hard.
The truck she was driving totaled in the crash, and Lopez left injured.
I have bruising all over my abdomen. I have bruising on both my legs, my arms, my back. They said I had a brain bleed, a small one, nothing, crazy big, but I did have a brain bleed from me hitting my head so hard. And then I have a fractured ankle.
Lopez has 3 kids and is the sole provider while her husband takes care of the children. She works in security and says she was just promoted at her job before the accident. While she recovers from her injuries, she worries her job will be in jeopardy without a reliable way to get there. Lopez says she'll be grateful for any support that comes her way.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that is nice. Just getting any little bit of help that I could to get the truck, just again, because it'll help out a great deal. I don't typically ask, but I would just love and appreciate the help from the community and things like that.
Celine Stevens, KGW News.
Economic uncertainty and federal cuts are forcing local food banks to reduce their services. This comes at a time of demand for food, time that the demand is growing, more desperate. Since 2018, the number of people using food banks in Washington has grown from 16% to 25% last year. At the Sultan Food Bank in Western Washington, a combination of stagnant donations and nearly $5 million in federal emergency food assistance cuts is forcing the organization to reduce the amount of food people receive from a week's worth to just a few days.
Most of the people who come here are working families who just can't afford food even though they work. You have elderly retired people who are on a fixed income, and you have people on disability.
Volunteers say they have seen another 35% increase in demand over the past year. Oregon's Department of Environmental Quality, or DEQ, continues to address issues this weekend following a cyber attack. DEQ shut down all of its systems as soon as they learned of the attack on Wednesday. That means vehicle inspection stations will remain closed through the weekend. DEQ does say there is no evidence so far of a data breach. If you need to reach someone at the department, give them a call. A traffic alert for the section of I-205 south of the metro. ODOT has scheduled a full overnight closure for both north and southbound ramps of Highway 99E. The closure starts around 10 tonight and will reopen at 8 tomorrow morning. And a quick heads up for Sunday morning when thousands of runners are set to hit Portland's roads and bridges. It's the annual Bridge to Bruise, which crosses back and forth over the Willamette. All three races, the 5, 8, and 10K, are going to finish downtown on NATO between Burnside and the Morrison bridges. TriMet expects a brief pause on MAX lines with some bus lines detoured. It was day 3 of a unique music festival across downtown and Old Town Portland. The Visit Downtown campaign is hosting Buskathon 2025. It's meant to highlight buskers, otherwise known as street musicians. From Thursday up through today, 30 buskers perform more than 200 live sets at more than a dozen locations, including sidewalks, plazas, and in front of businesses. Tomorrow from 3 to 5, the top 10 will take the stage at Directors Park for a busk-off. Portland's favorite busker will win a $1,000 grand prize.